Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm here to do an updated video on Lisk. I covered this project back in November of last year, which is essentially an eternity in crypto adjusted terms. As usual, I like to disclose if I'm holding any of the project, and I do still hold all the original Lisk that I bought way back in November when I covered this project originally. Quick reminder, please hit that like or that subscribe button if you haven't. I put out new content pretty frequently and I would hate for anybody to miss out. My usual disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. All investments have inherent risk and please do your own research. Alright, so we have a lot to talk about with this project because again, I said, November is the last time I covered it. So the first thing in February was Huobi launched Lisk trading pairs. Obviously this is kind of old news now and they've been listed elsewhere, but Huobi is a pretty big exchange and they have Lisk and ETH and Lisk Bitcoin pairs, which is pretty important. Obviously more liquidity, getting the project out there, very important for it to be on multiple exchanges. Then at the end of February, Lisk finally underwent its very, very long awaited relaunch. Basically, this was a whole kind of upgrade of their website, of their operating system, their wallet, their logo, everything. They did a total rebrand, a refresh. There was a lot of, not unhappiness, but people weren't really super pleased with the logo. So they kind of made it much more simple, as you can see here with them standing in front of it. I like it a lot more. It's very simplistic, gets the point across, but still looks like the original project. The relaunch event was a major milestone in the Lisk development roadmap and included the formal introduction of the new blockchain platform's branded image, website logo, product names, the Academy, and Lisk Hub. Alongside the relaunch, they also launched the Lisk Academy, which will serve as a one-stop shop for blockchain education and information for the non-developer and developer communities alike. So I popped over here and I was pretty impressed. They define it as a comprehensive and unbiased educational platform on the blockchain. Basically what it is you can see over here, the basics, welcome, what is blockchain, blockchain for kids, and so on, what's an ICO. This is really important because obviously this is kind of like, the bedrock of cryptocurrency in general. So if you're going to pick projects and you're going to be kind of tribalistic about what you want to follow, you have to fully understand blockchain tech, as the underlying concept. So it's pretty cool that they made the Academy to understand blockchain basics, and then you can move on to picking projects like maybe you'll end up liking Lisk. But education really is power in this space, and it's very important that we remember that there's always going to be new people coming in day by day, and not everyone's going to understand it. So having these kinds of resources are really cool. As you can see here, they state, we've created the Lisk Academy to help everyone develop an understanding of this revolutionary technology. Basically, so it'll be useful for a complete beginner, somebody that's new to blockchain, an aspiring cryptocurrency trader, and so on. So they're kind of aiming this at just about anybody and everyone that will be in this space. Then in March, they released a Lisk Hub update. So for those of you who don't know, Lisk Hub is an all-in-one solution to manage your Lisk ID, access and send Lisk tokens, as well as vote for delegates. It combines functionality for the former wallet and the Blockchain Explorer. In the future, Lisk Hub will feature a DEX, so a decentralized exchange, which is pretty cool news, sidechain registration, and the ability to launch your own ICO. So they're doing regular releases to continue to update the product and make sure that they're doing what they said they were going to do. So these are the things that are at the top of their list: account initialization, second passphrase registration, delegate registration, all this stuff. So this is like an update to the normal UI, the wallet, to kind of have everything in one centralized location, which is probably why they called it a hub. If you're interested in seeing any of the new releases or anything that they have going on, their GitHub's pretty active and you can find pretty much anything you need here. In June, on Twitter, they announced their public testnet for their version 1. The migration will take place when we reach block height 5,594,490. So basically, this was the testnet announcement for their version Lisk Core 1. They also show here that they listed a lot of tests, any issues that they ran into, more information, more updates about the completed large-scale public beta testnet, approximately 500 nodes. They have, their Medium is full of updates. I feel like the team must spend so much time doing updates because multiple times a week, multiple times a month, I'm seeing stuff on here. So if you have any questions about any progress or anything related to the project, go to their Medium first because it's absolutely like a gold mine of information as far as the project goes. I guess in June there was actually a service interruption in the network. So they did a big long write-up explaining kind of what happened. There was a temporary halt in the network. Despite the fact that the issue was identified and resolved within several hours, they believe the situation warrants more thorough explanation of precisely what happened to the Lisk network. Now, I'm not going to go through exactly what happened and read everything, but they give you all of the errors. They give you exactly what they think happened, how they fixed it. You can see Saturday, June 2nd, June 5th. Like they give you a play-by-play of exactly how they fixed it and worked it out. We're proud of the Lisk network safety and security and the people who facilitated this. The developers at Lightcurve's office were incredibly quick to respond due to the issue. Several of them came to the office on Saturday morning and worked quickly and efficiently. So obviously issues with the project are not ideal, but they're going to happen. I mean, it's an occupational hazard. We're kind of blazing new trails, right, technology-wise. So I think all things considered, this was best case scenario for how they could have handled it. They did a write-up. They took responsibility for it. They explained how they resolved it, and then they thanked the community, and it looks like they put any fears to rest. Then in July, dedicated Lisk community members in China founded the first ever Lisk-focused blockchain incubator that they're calling Elites Center. So as you can see here, the world's first Lisk incubator. Earlier this month, dedicated Lisk community members in China founded the blah, 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 so on, held its first inaugural conference. The incubator comes as an initiative from the team of Lisk delegates known as the Elite Group. There's a little bit of controversy there, but they have a vision to help further build and grow the Lisk ecosystem by providing opportunities for investors to help get involved with Lisk-based projects. So this is pretty cool, obviously, having a group that's focused on growth and development within the project to help strengthen the ecosystem, to have projects build on it, to have projects get involved. Very important. Obviously, the development team is working on the inner workings of the project. They can't always be focused on all this other external stuff. So it's cool to see when communities jump in and start to really help out the project for growth and, you know, just upward movement. Coming up in 11 days is the first ICO that's going to run on the Lisk platform called Mandana. It is an ICO that stands for Preserving Privacy by Design. Blockchain-based ecosystem allows anyone to stay in control of their data while monetizing in an anonymous way. This is pretty cool that there's an ICO going on this project, mostly because the project's been around for what seems like quite a while, and it's interesting to see finally that its platform aspects are kind of taking growth on its own, and we're seeing platforms become like the really big talk of 2018, at least, you know, in the second half of this year. So it's cool to see the progress on something like this, because Lisk is a very cool project. I actually think that there's a couple other things that will be going on it in the future, but this is just the first one as of right now. And then Lisk's biggest development milestone to date is nearly here. They've announced that Lisk Core 1.0 will go to mainnet next week, which is August 29th. We've got a block height announcement. The migration of the Lisk Core 1.0 to mainnet will happen when we reach the block height of this number at the end of round 68,327. So this is pretty enormous news because it sets the foundation for all future development of their various products, which are Lisk Core, which stores the main network blockchain data and secures the network infrastructure, Lisk Elements, which is a collection of libraries such as the shared cryptography and API representation, transactional logic for local signing and important constants for the ecosystem, and LiskCommander, which is the command line interface to the Lisk Core APIs. I reached out to the Lisk team to make sure that there wasn't anything information-wise that I was missing, and they told me that they've also scaled up massively. So now there's 51 people working out of the new office in Berlin, and they have huge plans to expand within each department from development through the marketing and design. Another big question that we've been hearing people ask is, when is their software development kit coming out? So Lisk is planning to release their JavaScript SDK alpha, by which their dApps can be developed for the Lisk blockchain. The release of this has been pushed back quite a bit, however, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to find any information directly about the date. As far as I know, the only thing I could get out of anybody is that it should be coming after the mainnet. Also, if anyone is curious about staking rewards from Lisk, this is a nice little payout table that'll give you kind of just an estimation of how much you're holding and what you should be getting if you are falling under these categories for who you have elected as your delegates. And then Lisk builders, if you put in your address, it will show you if you've voted for all of the delegates or enough of the delegates within each of these groups to be receiving these payouts on a monthly basis, which is very important because if you only vote for 3/4 of each, you're not going to be meeting the requirements for the delegates to get your staking rewards because it's a delegated proof of stake system, so you have to vote for your delegates. All in all, I think the rebrand turned out really great. Their website is beautiful, easy to use, all the information is where you'd expect it to be. They've got all their events, they've got a ton of stuff going on this year and a ton more events that they're going to do, so you should definitely come over to the site and check it out if you are interested. So now there's a few points that I'd like to mention which are kind of unrelated to the update or the news about the project, but it's just something that I felt was necessary to mention. So the first one is the team's extremely helpful. They were insanely easy to get a hold of. I mean, I got a hold of all the mods, and I was able to get a hold of the head of the team, basically, right on Telegram, answered my questions pretty much immediately, and everybody was extremely friendly and helpful, so that I was very impressed by. I also appreciate the fact when I say, hey, I'm making a video, people give me a chance to explain myself and don't just assume that, maybe I'm being dishonest or kind of have, like, wrong intentions or something. So I was grateful to receive a warm welcome, so to speak. And two, I would also like to shout out the fact that they have a branding style guide on their website. Means that they have a spot dedicated to their project logos, colors, and their branding to be used, which means that I get all of my video and thumbnail images directly from their site, and I'm able to get a background and everything else because all of their branding stuff is there. Now, this may not be useful to any of my viewers, but for me, this saves me an extraordinary amount of time because I'm able to get, a vector file of their logo. I can get the background for their website. I can get a whole bunch of branding stuff to make my thumbnail look nice and clean and make any images or any additions to the video. Very simple, but to the point because it's coming directly from them. Again, not huge to anybody else, but to me, extremely important. So if there's any other teams watching this or are interested in how that they can improve sort of their PR with people, having a branding guide or like a press release packet is extremely helpful. And I would suggest that most projects have that accessible on their website. One last thing, I don't know if you guys noticed, but my Daedalus shirt is green, which means it's kind of green screened everything out so you can see the background, which is pretty funny. If you like the shirt and you want to get one, I have a Redbubble store now, so you guys can order stuff with a bunch of different variety, but I also have my regular merch store on my website with a bunch of t-shirts up there, stickers, and whatever, if you guys want to pick up some merch. Alright guys, that about wraps it up for me this time around. I want to thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys soon.